Hi, I'm John Sutter with the Oklahoman. I'm here today with Eddie Terrill. He's the director of the Air Quality Division at the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality. We're here today to talk about air quality, which has been in the news so much lately with the Beijing Olympics and athletes dealing with pollution there. Can you compare for us the problems that have been seen there and then what the air quality problems that Oklahoma has here?
Well, there's really no comparison. If you look at the video, you can see that it's either foggy there all the time or it's smoggy, and I suspect that's smog you're looking at for the most part. I really haven't seen any data out of Beijing. What I have seen is kind of some anecdotal information. I think they shut down a couple of their monitors leading up to the Olympics so that the values wouldn't look quite as bad as at least from the readings they get. And plus, they're able to dictate when factories work and when they don't work, and when people drive and when they don't drive. Of course, we can't do that, and if when they can do that, then they can dramatically cut their short-term levels down. But even that, you can see that it's a fairly smoggy there, but there's really no comparison. I mean, we have relatively few bad ozone days and relatively few bad PM days. For this year, for instance, we've had I believe 8 days where we've exceeded the standard in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, and I would suspect that it's probably 8 days they haven't exceeded whatever standard they've got in China. I'm not even sure what standards they use, but I've got to believe it's not near as strict as what the Environmental Protection Agency has set for the United States.
So you mentioned ozone and PM particulate matter. What are the broad categories of air pollution that we deal with here in Oklahoma, and what are the sources of those?
Well, those are the primary ones that we use for our ozone watches and advisories, but we also monitor SO2, NOx, lead, I'm sure I'm forgetting some there, carbon monoxide, and primarily it's automobiles and stationary sources, factories, power plants, those sort of things. But primarily automobiles are our biggest source of both PM and the precursors for ozone, which are NOx and volatile organic compounds.
And so for all these different categories, what's the impact of this pollution here?
Well, each one has their little subtle differences, but most of them cause asthma-like symptoms, shortness of breath, tightness in the chest, coughing, just general irritation in the breathing passages in the lungs. That's for both PM and ozone. They're lung irritants is what they are.
Where can people find that information about what days the air quality is bad here, and what should they do if they know that?
They can go to our website, www.deq.state.ok.us, and that will get them onto our webpage. Then go to the air quality webpage, and they can sign up to get advisory notices through their email, and they can also listen to the weather forecast. We're really trying to get the weather folks educated as to the need to provide this information to the public so that they can make themselves aware of days when we do have either problems with ozone or particulate matter. But going to our website and signing up or looking at the real-time values, if they know what they're looking at, is the way to do it.
And if they see that information, what do you all recommend that they do differently?
Well, if you can, it really depends on what your circumstances are. If you're a jogger, you probably don't want to jog on the days that ozone is either forecasted to be high, or we've got the service now where we actually provide advisories. When pollutant levels reach a certain level, then we will issue a warning or advisory to people so that they can maybe adjust their activities that day. But the voluntary things we've always asked them to do to keep ozone, for instance, levels from getting too high is to stagger their car trips, where they either do them in the morning or early in the morning or late in the afternoon, and do chain type trips to put your activities together so you make one trip to do a multiple of functions. Being more efficient about the trips you take in your automobile so you have less pollution out of the tailpipe, and just conserving energy will save you money and help the environment too.
All right, well, thank you. Eddie Terrill with the State Department of Environmental Quality, and I'm John Sutter with the Oklahoman. Thanks for joining us.